Eek. Hang on, I'm just gonna check. I'm just gonna check Twitch. Something doesn't feel right to me. Can you say something? What in the world was that?
Still going.
Okay, good to go.
Good to go. Good to go.
All right, all you Leeds fan. It's prime time.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are recording, yeah? Oh, yep, got the alert. Okay. Today is the review episode. I just gotta go to this one.
Ooh, actually, what's my
You
intro?
ready, right?
Oh, I know what it is. Yep.
You sure? This is like a really oversized jersey.
You've lost weight, man.
Do you recognize this jersey?
Yeah,
by any
Viduka wore
chance?
that. I remember that one.
Very good.
You look like a Subway ad.
2002.
I've lost 25 kilos.
I actually have. Okay, okie dokie. I was just totally lost where my workflow is. Okay,
Yep,
so we gotta play the thing, the music, and then I talk. Okay. Okay. There's a bit of a lag
there always
in the
is, man.
video. That's
It's processing.
okay.
You can't see it live. We're not there yet.
All right. Yeah, but it's like when I see myself, it's a
on
bit
Skype.
off-putting,
Yeah.
but
Don't look at Skype,
okay.
man.
Well, I'm trying not to, but it's.
Yeah,
I need to
I
look at
will
you when
flip
you're
it.
on the screen.
Just
so
you
I can't.
starting. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. All right, I'll get through it.
Stop looking at yourself.
I'll power through it. That's what you do on video, man. Okay. All right. 3 and a 2 and a 1. Hello and welcome to episode 152 of the Naked Tech Podcast. It's a show that gives you everything you need to know about consumer tech, internet, and all things Marcelo Bielsa.
My name is Kelvin Lee and WDITOT. Why didn't I think of that? I know. Yeah. So, WDWTOT. My name is Kelvin Lee. Yeah. That's how we name shows really well.
We get started on what we're trying to do for this episode.
Well, it's your fabulous idea.
Oh, I guess it is. I think so. I think during the second lockdown that we're going through right now, we're all a bit waiting for some tech news. Not much happening out there, Kelvin.
Not much.
Twitter got hacked. What else?
When is it not being
Trump
hacked?
said a few things.
When is he not saying a few things?
So while we're in the doldrums of tech news, I thought it might be a good idea to go through some of these startups and tech ideas that have come through, and we sort of talk about them maybe off the air sometimes. But yeah, we have this platform. We have a podcast. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. So let's just chat about them. See how that goes.
Yeah,
So we got a couple of good examples.
Yeah, I think
Quite
people
random,
are,
I think.
I think people are just, there's not much happening out there, not a lot of, good news to talk about. It's just all bad news at the moment. So let's talk
Mm.
about some of the people that are doing good things, new things that are coming up even in such, you know,
So I'm going to put it out there.
depressing
I don't
times.
think they're necessarily good things, and maybe
Hmm.
we'll touch on that later on. But these are sort of ideas that you hear about, and like, hang on, I could have thought of that. I could have done
Interesting
that.
ideas. Not good ideas,
Interesting
interesting.
enough. They may or may not have legs, but I think in terms of the concept, uh, that there are certain things that you just sort of think, man, that is a great idea. Should have done that myself and made billions of dollars. But here we are doing a podcast. So let's kick it off. I have a company called Slync, spelt Slync, not to be confused with Slync.io, because that is a, what was it, logistics company.
Yeah, well, supply chain, mind you.
Hmm. I might start off with a clip actually, and then maybe just chat about that.
Hi, my name is Mark Gaisford, the co-founder of Red Sprout Media. We were recently recruiting for a video editor, and one of the candidates who applied sent through a video application with himself as a floating head pretending to be me. And it was so creative and so different, and it really matched our sense of humour. We interviewed him and hired him on the same day. We were so impressed.
All right, so this is all coming from a BBC little news snippet that I found on Twitter. And Slync is I'll do the elevator pitch here. It's they're a social hiring app created for the mindsets of younger millennials and the Snapchat generation. So this is a video first CV hiring company, and that was an example of a like a video editing company, and they were just hiring, and apparently someone submitted a video of the CEO or the founder as a floating head, and apparently he quite liked that. I mean, it's not a new concept, but I will talk through some of the execution, maybe the pros and cons about that. But yeah, your initial thoughts, Kelvin.
Yeah, so I was made redundant in February, and thankfully, after, let me see, March, April, May, 4 months, I found a job. And I was lucky enough to get interviews, and I'm thinking back through about the 5 to 6 interviews that I had, one made me do a video.
Okay.
So that didn't work out. So on a personal experience, it's horrible. But I can see why this is happening because unfortunately, a lot of people are being made redundant now. So there's a lot of CVs for HR teams and recruiters to go through. If they can watch a 30-second video and get a vibe, I mean, that will save them heaps of time.
That's right. Especially in this age, right? So remote working, you may not be able to go in for an interview, or like I guess companies are also hiring from faraway locations. That's more prevalent these days as well. So they're definitely targeting the younger market, the Snapchat generation, as I say. And yeah, I guess it kind of works for them. As we all kind of gather, we're not in that target market, but yourself and I. However, there are some, I don't know, should we say like awkward millennials out there that may struggle with face-to-face interviews, but they would be quite comfortable with like doing a selfie video to spruik themselves. So I think that's an interesting strategy they're going for.
Yeah, I think in the world of selfies and what do you call well, selfies that are videos, but it's the front-facing camera?
Oh,
Fronties? I don't know.
I
People
like fronties.
people are just comfortable with the sound of their voice, and people are comfortable being quite extrovert online. And the cameras are amazing these days. The mics are getting better. You don't need a setup like ours. So I say go for it.
I think definitely mixed results. I'm gonna play a very short clip on some of these submissions that the young people are submitting.
I'm very passionate about traveling and learning new languages.
I'm a people's person.
And I also love baking, and I have my own food blog.
Hey, baking.
Mm,
You had me at baking. Hired. You're in.
yeah, I know.
Um,
Bake me some cookies. Um,
so I think it's mixed results, and I think execution-wise, what they've done is, and I should say that they're from London, and they're a very small team of 10, from what I can gather. They've created a phone app, unfortunately iOS only, with a small team of 10, I suppose. And for the employers, it's a web app or a web experience. So
okay.
interesting dynamic. Like I think I'm not familiar with any other company that does that. Like very distinct experience. Like, hey, you're a Gen Y or Gen Z millennial, use a phone. Hey, but you're a big employer, use use the web.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think, a
Hmm.
lot of companies restrict, the kind of things you can and cannot use on your phones and things like that. So, and people who are working on their computers, referring to CVs and docs and everything that they need. So it makes sense. Um, and I think if they want to change the hearts and minds, they have to go through bigger companies, and bigger companies are more traditional.
Hmm. And what I like about this is that the idea itself, I think, is quite sound. I don't think this is a new concept, but they've sort of concentrated or put a focus on video, CV submissions, right? And they've built a platform around that to connect those job seekers with the employers. So I think that's pretty good. You know, we're talking about here, BBC Business have featured them, so hopefully they're going places. I couldn't find any information on any, series funding. I think, yeah, they're at the very early stages of this.
But
Um, yeah.
I'm just looking at the website now, and I'm looking through the employer section of the website, and it's showing some of the profiles. Can we talk about the elephant in the room? There's a people there are very good looking,
Ooh.
and I feel like that there's going to be discrimination. I think we're human. I think if you see
Ah.
someone very attractive, that going to give you a foot in through the door now?
Well,
If
that
you
that is the next angle that I wanted to bring up. So this clip might showcase some of that. This is, I guess, it's a employment lawyer in the UK talking about some of the, I guess, the traps around that.
The good thing about old-fashioned written CVs is that you can anonymize them, so you're not giving away those protected characteristics such as ethnicity, gender, age, disability.
Yeah, so maybe just that website, the web feature, maybe that's just a marketing thing. But I guess the other side of that is, yeah, like I suppose you do get to see the names of the applicants on a paper CV, and some of the ethnicity might come through. I guess there's a natural bias there, but like with video and the way you look is front and center of everything, right? So the other thing I didn't mention was that these are maximum 35 seconds.
yeah, so that so you don't waffle on about your life and the basement you're living in.
It's for that quick first impression. Yeah.
So back to that question of showing ethnicity and things like that, and a lot of countries in Asia, for example, still ask for a headshot, so that's not new. The issue
Hmm.
you're going to get here is the Tinder effect, where people aren't who they say they are. For example, if you look at any Samsung camera, that front-facing beautification is ridiculous. I look like
Please,
I've
no filters, please.
I look like I've lost 10 years every time I take a selfie. Okay, so that is not right. Like you're not going to get who you think you're getting as an employer. You know what I mean? Like they could have easily changed the background. They can, I don't know, can you superimpose clothes now on yourself? Can you deep fake
Wouldn't the
yourself?
video element help though
Deep
with that?
fakes, man. What if I deep
Okay.
faked a voice or a face? Because you're never, I mean, in this, by the time we go back in the office, it could be half a year. I may not be who I say I am or look like who I show you who I
That probably
am.
relies on the first day though. Just
Yeah, but I think there's huge opportunity. It targets, the younger generation, but you could easily socially hack this.
That's right. I have one of the co-founders, and it's actually the founders are a couple, a power couple, and I just have the name Jamie. That's it.
Mhm.
That's his name. I couldn't even find his surname. Maybe he only has one name. But here is Jami on how they're dealing with some of the discrimination that may potentially arise.
If an employer is making a judgment on video CVs then and there, it is up to the company's auditing team to ensure that the diversity is fair within the organization.
Right, so passing the buck somewhat. I'm sure, like, I haven't gone through the privacy information, terms and services, but I guess that's up to the employees to make sure that happens. Yeah, but like young people are gonna be asses sometimes, right? Like desperate times might, and maybe the more creative you get, the better, maybe for some employers, but. Yeah, I think it's just an interesting take on the whole thing.
I think the best way to look at it, if it's agencies, creative industries, startups, yeah, I think that's you can't pay the best, so you're probably not going to attract everyone. But if you're looking for someone with innovative thinking and is super creative, yeah, I say go for it. It's a new way of filtering through boring CVs.
Yeah, so I think pretty sound idea, I would say. I don't know, the business model is, I think there is a subscription model for the companies that are hiring these people. For the applicants, it's a free service. Yeah, so yeah, I think interesting. I just wanted to call this one out because it kind of just popped up in my feed, and it literally made me think that's probably something I could have thought of.
Yeah, no, I think it's super cool. I'm just trying to look for pricing, but there is none because it's probably
it's not
employer
much.
specific. Yeah, I think a new way of doing things is always fun. So let's see what happens with them.
Yes. On to yours, Kelvin.
Yes. So have you heard of a YouTube channel called Corridor Digital by any chance?
I have actually, yes.
So I'm going to just pop them up on the screen right now. They are a YouTube channel. I think, what would you say is their most famous video? I think, remember a couple of years ago, the Google company, the Alphabet company, Boston Dynamics, showed all these robots carrying boxes and jumping upstairs. They did a spoof video where the robots fought back. And I thought that was hilarious. So Corridor Digital are a agency based in LA. They do CGI for films and cartoons, and they've been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years now, and they've got a lot of experience working with YouTube and trying to film a movie or film a TV series. And it's never really worked out for them because what happens is the executive producers take over, or it's hard to get some funding. They may have potentially found another way. So I've got a quick clip of the owners of Corridor Digital just explaining what their new system is.
This is kind of a story about systems here, like the YouTube system, that's one of them. The film industry, that's another one. And then what we're creating is something that's different from both.
We're going to make you the executive. We're going to be doing a subscription-based website. You're going to be getting a representation of what your subscription is, and then you can decide what shows your subscription goes to. We're not just launching it, by the way. We have shows. We have ideas. They're coming. You'll see them soon.
So what you do is you pay $4 a month and they give you producer points. And every month they will have these ideas that they put on the website that you're looking at right now on Twitch. And you sort of throw your points towards which show you think they should make for the next couple of episodes. And that makes you the producer. And they get funding from it. What do you think?
So the shows are like original content, not it's not like they get to work for some other Netflix show or anything like that.
That's right. It's original content.
Okay. So you pitched the idea to the producers.
Mm-hmm. So they've got a couple of really interesting videos at the moment, video series at the moment on YouTube. For example, they do a great visual artists react to some good or bad CGI, which I love, especially when they do the Bollywood ones. They're amazingly funny. They've worked with Snoop Dogg to bring Tupac back, for example. So they do a lot of deep fakes and they talk you through the process. And they talk about how to use different technology. They talk about how to protect your videos. They've got a lawyer who's part owner of the company. So a lot of different things come out of it. They've spoken on TEDx before, so they know how to present. So a lot of good ideas, a lot of good shows, a lot of talented people, a lot of different ideas. They get a lot of people in the industry to come in and talk about stunts as well. So it'd be interesting to
And I
see
think
how they
I
pull
guess
this
the
off.
MO is like innovation, right? So they've sort of been pushing the boundaries with deepfakes, especially. They're just saying what's happening out there. I don't know if they are experts in machine learning or necessarily, but they've trained themselves up in certain tech software, I suppose. We're getting to that stage where you don't have to be a technical guy to do deepfakes. You can just like run some algorithm, but have a creative mind, I suppose. I think one of my favorites videos of them in the past have been the Tom Cruise deepfake.
Yes,
Have you seen that?
yes, yeah.
They
So
actually got
it's
an impersonator to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so super interesting concepts. Like you said, they're not hardcore, I think, developers. They're really, creative graphics, producers and
Mm.
engineers, maybe you would call them. So it'll be interesting to see if they survive, and it'll be interesting to see if their new system works.
It's a bit of a like, would you liken this to a Patreon type of model for other channels?
Yeah, but with Patreon, you don't really know where the money goes. You get
This is
exclusive
directly to the channel.
Correct. You get exclusive content, I guess, for some Patreon channels, but you don't dictate what they do next. You don't help become a producer. So it's it's gonna be interesting to see if people really know what they want. The good old you don't really know what you want. You know what I mean? We'll decide what you want. And I guess they're getting frustrated with, you could easily, get your content stolen on YouTube these days. And they've had that in the past and they've done a video about that. So they want to sort of, run on their own. And I think that is the way to go. I think once you get a big following on YouTube or, Spotify, whatever it might be, it's time to branch off and start your own thing because you can't depend on them
Yeah.
forever.
And I think the beauty of this is it's the whole thing probably has a mind of its own, right? So they themselves don't really know where this is going to go. I guess this platform allows them to push those boundaries, like keep on experimenting with video content. So it's deep fakes today. What's the next thing? Maybe could they go into VR? Like what if, YouTube has a certain element of VR, I think. Probably not so much, but that'll be really interesting to see for me.
Yep. Now, to end off the show, I'm going to talk about something I wouldn't say you and I would ever think of, but I think it's because now everyone is working from home a lot, there's a lot of stress on the internet. I think a lot of people are, whenever I go on a video call, my wife does the same thing for work. I can definitely feel like, the Wi-Fi network straining. So this in my hand is a access point. It's also known as a Wi-Fi mesh system. I've got this from a company called Tenda. No, they didn't sponsor the video. I bought them on Amazon. There's a couple of companies that make this, your usual router companies, and this is going to be quite boring for a lot of people, but I feel like it's super relevant because you're probably sitting in a house with a couple of people, whether it be a house share, whatever it may be, with your family, and everything's slowing down, and you need something to solve it. What it does is you put a few of these cubes in your house, and they all talk to each other, and they try to sort of fill the house with a signal that is strong enough for every corner of the house. So rather than a repeater that you plug in and just repeats the Wi-Fi network, this is actually quite smart, and there's a little bit of AI in it in terms of how it decides to bounce off each node. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures if you're on Twitch. Basically, it's a diagram of a house, and depending on where you put these nodes, they cover the house. And what's really different these days with these routers and mesh networks is you just download an app. It detects all the devices and the nodes, and it just connects everything up for you. Like I set this up in like 10 minutes. Like my kids were having a shower in the meantime. Probably not the safest thing to do, but just want to show how easy it is.
Would you liken this to oh God, like when you have a set of SSDs and you want to like kind of share the load? What do you call that?
RAID?
Uh, like a RAID system. Is it a little
Uh,
bit like that, like sharing the load rather than extending the
yes,
range?
correct.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what it does is, for example, I think there's a good diagram here, is when the node that is sort of getting the internet finds the closest node, gives it 100%, and then that node finds another node and gives it 100%. With repeaters, they're just trying to repeat the strength of the signal. So they don't really know which node is the one that actually has the most strength. Let's talk about the important things, price. This system, the Tenda MW3, cost me $100 for 3 nodes, which is super cheap because there are options from the usual ASUS, TP-Link, Netgear, and they all go into the 300-400 marks. This system does have its limitations. For example, the max internet speed you can push through these things is 100 megabits a second. I've only got 50 from NBN, so that's fine. And the maximum Ethernet port is 100 megabits. So physically, you can only really get as fast as 100 megabits because your internet's only that fast. They do have a version called the MW6 that goes up to a gigabit. If you really want to transfer files between computers at home, I think that is the way to go. But we're in Australia. The fastest internet we can get now is 250. So really good system. Definitely go to Amazon. They've got sales all the time, and it will definitely improve your Wi-Fi coverage at home. So yeah, it's been around for a while, but now it's at a price point that I think everyone should go get them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I guess, complain about their internet connection, but a lot of the times the slowness is due to their local setup. So this will definitely, help with that. Unfortunately, routers have a certain lifespan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do need to refresh them. I think ideally, what is it 2 years now? Would you say?
Yeah, I really think it's about the devices you have as well. Like if you're gonna spend $2,000 on an iPhone, $3,000 on a MacBook, but your router is 5 years old, sitting under your in your cabinet overheating. There's no point if you've got all the devices in the world and they've got slow internet connection. So and they're not expensive now. These mesh networks, like they're just so cheap and they work so well. I'm super surprised by it.
It's funny. I just realized sometimes that my cat goes missing for a few minutes, and then a lot of the times I see her actually sitting on my router because I think it's the warmest thing in the
Oh
room.
my God, your poor router. Well, you've got bigger issues, man. You need to get an NBN fast.
Yes, we're running the show on 4G, by the way, off my phone.
Well, soon it'll be 5G. Soon we'll be talking about the iPhone 12. Well,
All right, let's wrap that up.
On that note, we hope you enjoyed the new show format where we talk about new things, new technology, new gadgets, back to the basics. Please go to the website, thenakedtechpodcast.com, to check out all 151 other episodes. Let us know what you think on any of the social media networks that we're on. Kelvin out.
Check out, and I just realized I said
So loud.
Okay, well,
that was me yelling.
I've got the volume like right down on my headset, so I didn't pick that up until halfway through. Should have been